All right, so today we're still working with palette knife, and right now we're gonna mix some colors. I've got some different purples on there and some white. But we're gonna mix some pastel-y looking purples for some flowers, and using a palette knife to mix is also one very good function of them. You want one that's real bendy. Some of these aren't too bendy, but you can always form them. Whereas this one is really bendy. She's a
It
bendy
is.
one. I like a good bendy palette knife. And then, of course, the sharp one's good to get in there and mix your paint, but we'll use this one instead. And then because we know we're going to work with lavender colors, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of purple to the white at a time. Just because it's highly pigmented. And a lot of people like the look of the paint, like streaking through the white, but I like to mix it, make the one color, and then you can add more to get your streak effect. But having a nice bendy palette knife makes blending the paint easy. And you just move it around, kind of like icing, really. And that's pretty much how you utilize your palette knife for blending, mixing your paint. And like I said, if you're planning out a painting, mixing paint can take forever. It just depends on the palette that you're needing. But it's always good to plan. So that was one purple. We're going to go in here with this one, and I'm going to grab a little bit more because this is a richer, more blue purple. We just want the different purpley purples in there. So we go from a blue violet to a red violet. Got that mixed pretty well. You can see the difference in the purples. They're so pretty. I'll keep checking and making sure he's gonna pop on. All right, now I wiped off my palette knife. Easiest cleanup ever. And we're gonna go in with our red violet, which just looks like pink to me. So let's go ahead and add just a smidge of that. There we go. This paint, the white is really thick. It's Winsor Newton. It's a really high quality paint. It's kind of inexpensive too. And then of course the Soho is the cobalt violet that's right here. And then I've got the Artist Loft, which is the Michaels brand of purple or violet right there. So the difference in the types of paint that you use is going to make a difference in the viscosity of your paint. And if you're wanting it to be thicker, you can leave it as it is. If you want it thinned out, we just add either Galkit or some mineral spirits to it. But now I've got my 3 different colors of purple on here. I'm not very good at making petals, so we're going to go ahead and try to make some petals. And with the lavender, you know what a lavender plant looks like, so it's usually slimmer, but we're gonna go big with it and see about like a zoomed in perspective on the lavender maybe. So we'll make some really big lavender petals on this blank canvas. And then we can go in, actually do this. I don't know if I want to go in later at the green for the background. I'm just gonna make sort of an abstract green background. Let's see. Paint right on here. Kind of Add some different greens. That one was Viridian. We're gonna add some stop green. And keeping with this is just to fill in a background. Keeping with the springy look. Let's add some sky blue. And then I'm going to move my coffee so I don't get mineral spirits in it. Just gotta protect the drink. And I'm gonna get a kind of the big wide palette knife, dip it in my mineral spirits, and I'm just gonna move it. I just want there to be paint prior to adding the flowers. So I don't really have to worry about painting a background. And we're using that scraping method to kind of angle the brush. Instead of just laying it flat, I kind of go side to side like that. It's bread and butter on your toast. And what I'm going to do I want this green purple or fluid.
Just need something deep.
So now I want to go in with white so that we have a spring look. Just gonna get palette knife and put the paint straight on the palette knife because it's coming up the side of my tube. Good thing about these palette knives is the cleanup, and I think that's what Tiffany really likes. How easy the cleanup can be. Wipe them on. It's this. Just take in the white, and I'm just gonna place it around, and then get more minerals for your king spreader. Like I said, I'm just doing this so that I can background. And then what you can even do, utilize all your tools. Your rag is even a tool. I like to do this quite often. You can get your rag and roll it up, and then dip that in your mineral spirits, and then just go along your canvas here. Twist it, you're gonna get circles. You see that? I'm just trying to make something that's lavender to live on. Zoe's over there cooking. Okay, we got our background. Let's lay some flowers. All right. In the interest of sticking with the palette knife method. Now, remember I said I wanted to kind of zoom in on a lavender plant. Up there, Sarah. Hey, hey, you made it.
Hello.
Hey, okay.
What you working on?
I didn't bring my painting with me, the Two Lovers Point, so I brought a blank canvas and I made some purples because I'm just gonna maybe make some lavender on this canvas here.
Very nice.
So all I did was lay some green and white and went in with my cut up t-shirt rag, dipped it in my mineral spirits and just spread it out just so I have a background. And what I'm gonna do now is go in, like I said, I've mixed the purples and you can see the different purples I used and adding white to those. And you can see I added more purple to this one than to this one. And then I mixed a little bit of purple and the red violet together to get this one. It's always good to have different shades of your purple or different hues. You can keep it interesting.
That's our theme this week is mixing colors. Is that correct?
Well, it's still working with the palette knife, so yeah, we
Oh,
can
good.
we can focus on the mixing of the colors. That works for me.
I've got plenty of palette knife work to do, so I'm fine either way.
Oh, good. Did you want me to start making petals or talk about mixing the paint?
Oh, that's totally up to you. You are the maestro.
Well, I will go ahead and start with some petals then.
Cool.
And I don't know. We've got an array of palette knives here, so we'll just kind of go with it. And I'm going to collect the paint on the bottom of the palette knife just by tapping it in there. It's a little thick, so I'm going to add some mineral spirits to it. The white paint I was saying earlier is real thick because it's a higher quality paint. It's Winsor Newton. And then the Soho paint is it's not a terrible paint, but you can see here it's really highly pigmented as well. And then this and this one are both the Michaels brand of paint, but the white's the Winsor Newton, so it's real thick. But I'm just gonna gather a lot of paint on the bottom of the palette knife. And we'll start the petal here, see what we can get. And add a little bit more. Trying to see how that's gonna live on there. Might like a more rounded. I'm gonna try this one. See how it comes out. Very nice. I don't know. Keep playing with it, shall we? I've gotten way more on this smaller palette knife. I may just stick with this one. Yeah. As you can see, it's super thick on there. Super thick like. You see the thickness? All right, so we're gonna keep going in, adding lavender. I'm just kind of guessing what that petal would look like based off the photo. It's all about the wrist work, I suppose. Laying down petals. And the more paint you get on your palette knife, the thicker of a petal you're gonna have, so. Right, I like a lot, so we're gonna go with a lot. You can see. It's pretty good. On this. Wow. Wow. I dig it. I mean, kind of super abstract. Do you see that?
Totally.
Pretty good though. I kind of like the idea of putting the different paint on the palette knife and then applying it to the canvas and then working it like I am right now, because it's like allowing me to maneuver the paint on here in a way and work with it so that it's making the petals. I think that looks really cool. Just gonna keep adding paint. Go in there with it nice and thick, like be brave with that stuff. And I didn't know how it would be with adding the different purples on here, but I kind of like it. Then you can mix right on the canvas and make those petals. Oh, what do you think?
I dig it.
What kind of palette work you got going on?
Well, I was making my sand, but since you're working on petals, I'm switching gears now.
Are you gonna do your flowers, or do you need me to help you with your sand? Because I can help with the sand if you want while I'm doing petals, or if you wanted to do the flowers on your canvas, you can do that as well. At your disposal, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
But this isn't too terrible.
To remember to mix and then go in, mix, clean my palette knife, and then mix, and then apply.
Mm-hmm.
So I messed up royally on the sand.
Well, happy accidents, right?
Well, I don't know how happy I am about that one.
Or this dark color, this dark purple is really thick too. So I'm gonna thin it out just a bit. This though that it's more malleable. I feel like I need more white. All right, well, let's do this. Let's add more white to my palette. Get us some more lavender. I feel like I'm just going to have to, yep, I knew that's going to happen. This is what happens when your tube breaks in half. That's okay. None of this will get wasted. Ton of white. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna mix it for a second. We're gonna mix in some purples. That's all right. Thanks, all right. Look at that glob of white. I don't know, guys. So I'm beginning to see that the method for making petals is to have a lot of paint
Yes.
on your palette knife. And once you get the color in that you want, in my experience, then all you have to do is go in with your darker paints, add some of those in, and you can add some depth to what you have on your canvas. Once you get your big chunks of purple on there for your petals, then you can add your darker bits of paint in there, add some depth to that. If you're mixing your paint on your canvas with your palette knife and you need to move your pile, that's where having two palette knives can also come in handy, but either way, that's why palette knives are really good to mix your paint with.
I find having the weight of the wooden palette knife definitely helped me mix better on the canvas, because or it was no gravity was not working with the plastic ones at all.
Yeah. Those plastic ones, really don't prefer them unless I'm like using the modeling paste. But even with the metallic palette knives, it's easier to mix the modeling paste with that as well. You just have to really clean up after that because that will definitely gunk up your palette knives.
So I'm mixing oil and acrylic with my in my mixing. Any notes on that?
Acrylic dries quicker than oil, so if you're gonna mix the two to make your petals, just know you probably need to get it laid how you want it on your canvas, and then let it kind of experiment with how that dries. And of course, it would depend on the ratios that you're using of oil to acrylic, how
Yeah.
quickly it would dry. I've never actually mixed the two, like, and then used it. I've always used acrylic first and then gone in with oil over top.
Yeah, it's not working very well. I can tell you that. The white that I'm mixing in, I got white acrylic because I couldn't find any white oil.
Okay.
I'm mixing that with the yellow ochre to try to make sand, and the white just doesn't even exist. It's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta go real lightly when you're mixing into white.
Yeah.
But with the yellow ochre, what you could do, since you have Gogh is you can lay down your acrylic white first and then do a layer of yellow ochre with the Gogh when
Oh,
that dries and paint over top of that.
okay.
If it's not mixing well and you don't want to use that, that's one way you can do it.
Not mixing well, that's for sure.
I really like the cobalt purple with the violet or with the white. Blue violet essentially. Cobalt purple. Literally blue violet. Fancy. All right, I guess what I'll go ahead and do is go on in. Start laying some big fat petals down. I don't want to use that. Let's see. Oh, I feel like let me get this one. I thought I had a different round one, but I guess I didn't hear you. And being too picky. Way too picky. All right. Thick petals here. I'm just gonna.
Just a heads up, I don't know about the other artists, but I'm not able to see you right now.
Oh, whoops. Thank you. Oh, no. Can you see me now?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Thank you. I don't know why I did that. Anyway. So we're gonna keep going in with the thickness here. I recommend keep trying different palette knives. Make
yeah, I
different
am.
colors. Okay.
So I'm trying something a little different here.
Okay.
Try to get a sandy texture, but I don't know how well it's working. I might go in with a sponge instead. Let me see if I can.
If you want it to have like texture to it, you can always just take the palette knife and like just the back of it and tap.
That's exactly what I'm doing. If you can see, you probably can't see what I'm doing, can you?
Oh, I can now. Yeah, exactly. And then if you wanted to make it darker,
Yeah.
clean off your palette knife and add just the darker paint to the back of your palette knife
Yeah.
and then tap that on there.
I'm actually going to go lighter.
Lighter, there you go. And all I'm doing to make these petals is pushing down on the base of the palette knife first and then pulling out.
So you are giving a little pull. See, when I was dabbing my petals on the ones that I got rid of,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just laying it on there and that was it.
Yeah, you can do both. I'm giving a little pull so that there's a little bit of a groove to add more.
Yeah.
So I'm planning where I'm placing the next petal based off of that. So I don't know if you can see the method here.
I can go on mute since I'm on a racket here.
I'm just laying it down and tilting the brush and pulling it. It seems to be working. And then like adding just the tidbits of the darker color in there. That's going to give you some depth on your petals. And make it really 3D. I don't know if you can see that. Well,
Yeah, I can see that really well.
and just pull down. One there, turn it one there. And I feel like I had too much paint on that. So I just kind of moved it and made two. And now I'm going to go with a darker to imply that there's two there. And so we'll just keep adding petals, different sizes. Keeps it interesting. Keep mixing in the paint together and gathering it and then laying it is how it looks on the palette knife. And then when it gets on the canvas, it mixes. It's actually really interesting. But just keep changing it up. Keep going in with your palette knives. I don't know if cleanup was easy for you last time, but it was pretty simple for me. The one thing we know about lavender is that you can pull it all towards the center and then make one line for the stem. Try to keep this as abstract as possible, make as many lavender blooms as I can. And got a lot of paint, so should be all right. Did want to work with like essentially piping the paint on the canvas and then just going in with the palette knife and working it, but that was just for the background and to keep it all with like the same sort of palette knife stroke, like in a swirl. But that's just experimental, and it would be a lot like what Van Gogh do a Starry Night, where it was the same sort of stroke on it. Hey,
Hi.
hello. Look who it is, Jared.
Hello, how are ya?
Tired. I just woke up.
Okay, are you going to have enough rest for the surgery tomorrow?
Hopefully, I do have to work tomorrow morning, so that's gonna be
Oh.
fun. Yeah, but yeah, I'll just try to go to bed early and
Do you?
So they're painting lavender.
but that's nice. I was
Yeah.
wondering.
That's lavenders.
Look.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
touch it,
click
make
on
it.
it. Oh, that's so
my-
pretty.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well,
I'm
maybe you
still
can join
working.
us next time.
Yes,
And paint. We need to get Debbie set up with paint.
Yeah.
Don't you rush on that. I don't have time. I'm gonna do my house first. I'm gonna do my house.
wow.
Yeah. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello,
Love you. Okay, I'm gonna mute us again.
I love you. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna lay down because I have a headache.
Bye.
Bye,
Oh,
Take
I
care.
love you.
guys. Mwah.
Mwah.
Okay, touch that.
You got the, oh, okay.
Up down bottom. Stop that.
All right.
Okay, I got a new violet made here. One thing I'm running into though is I'll have undercurrents of just the one color. It's not mixing very reliably with the palette knife, but I could see that becoming a happy accident though, for sure.
Yeah, you really, if you're gonna spend the time to mix the paint and to get the specific colors that you want, that you don't want like streaks in it, it takes a while to mix the paint together. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something you spend anywhere between, 45 minutes to an hour just mixing paint for what you're about to work on. So it's definitely a painstaking process, but to get the right colors and to get it to where it looks like it wasn't mixed on the canvas, then yeah, you have to spend the time to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get the look that I've got going on, which is it looks mixed, but it also looks like I mixed it on the canvas, which is what I want. Because I'm utilizing that for depth in the flowers and textures on the paint. So I don't have to put that much more work into shading. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's already started for me. And then you can just kind of add to it once the paint starts to dry and go in with the more fluid liquid color to add what you need to add. But I do like having like darker paint on the top of the palette knife and lighter paint on the bottom, and what that
Mhm.
creates when you lay it down and push with the palette knife like that and pull it through. So I just think it ends up really pretty. And I think this palette knife is probably perfect for making the lavender petals the way that I need them to.
Here's what I'm using for the bougainvilleas. Would that be appropriate, you think? Since they're more a pointed end flower?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So you're pulling. When you pull, you're not adding any pressure when you pull. You're tapping and then just pulling with that zero pressure, just letting gravity keep it on
Yeah,
the canvas.
I just changed the angle that I'm pulling. So instead of pulling flat with like focus on the back of the palette knife, I tip it up so that I'm pulling with the tip through the
Okay.
flower. So the colors pulled through the flower from the tip.
Very good. Very good.
So like if I was to put the light purple on the bottom
Mm-hmm.
and then the dark purple on the top, you see that?
Yeah.
And then when I lay it and pull back, it's pulling the dark through the light and it's giving me the effect that I want.
Okay.
So, and you can lay your colors where they're like right next to each other, like you need them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep pulling from that pile and it's gonna give you what you need right there. And
Okay.
it always looks like this on the palette knife. And then you can
Looks like what?
what looks like this on the palette knife,
Mm-hmm.
where you get your light and your dark, and then you come and you lay it down.
Cool.
Pull that through. And then gonna keep doing that. We're gonna have a lot of lavender. And then the more that you change the angle of the palette knife, more different pulls you're going to get for your petals. And it's going to give you different streaks through there. And if you want to lay down your paint and then go back in and move that around with your palette knife, it's just going to add to it. I feel like anyways, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people like a more like identifiable petal, like it looks like an actual petal. The colors are blended like an actual petal, but I kind of dig what it looks like when it's just laid on there.
Same. That's one good thing about the bougainvilleas is they're so bunched up that you can just kind of lay it.
Yeah. See, look at that. See if you can see the way that it's mixing on there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to get with the bougainvilleas, and it is not working out. But I think that's also because I'm using acrylics as well.
Well, lay your acrylic first and then use your oil to go on top and add depth to it since you have the acrylic is the white, right?
Yeah, so I'm using the white to mix. I'm trying to get a lighter color.
I see.
So I should probably be using the mineral spirits instead, huh?
You
To get a
have,
lighter color.
you can just go ahead and mix your acrylic white with your acrylic red to get the pink if you have that, if it's giving you too hard of a time.
Oh yeah, I guess I could have used acrylic with acrylic. Oops.
That's okay. Because if you do that, then you probably won't have as hard of a time and your flowers will probably dry a lot quicker.
Let me see the pile of paint you're dipping your um okay, so you got it like big old fluff of it. Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
And
I
the
need to
palette
get.
knife I'm using is fairly small, so it's gathering quite a bit of paint at a
Yeah.
time, which is allowing me to layer it like I need to. And it's the perfect size for these little lavender petals. You know, the goal is to be like zoomed in on it, you know? It's just allowing me to lay it like I need to.
Yeah, I'm definitely an oil fan. After going back to acrylic,
Yeah,
Oil is so much better to work with, in my opinion.
I mean.
I guess there's
figured-
merits for both, but
There are, but I feel like for impasto painting, which is what we're doing with the getting down with the thickness, I guess you could say. It definitely is much more conducive to achieving what we're trying to achieve, which is that real thick paint on the canvas.
Yeah.
I'll continue to do is just lay some petals, and I'll do that until I get all this paint on here. And then we can talk about like, I kind of want just the petals to be the focus.
Okay.
Going in and adding any kind of little extra like white on the edges of the petals, just to give it a more lit effect, like the light is touching that a little bit better just right on the edges of it.
hmm
So that could be fun. And you can go in with like a warmer color, like yellow or orange on there, just to add to it. The lavender blooms are real pretty. Oh, I'm pretty. Let's see. It's windy here. Wasn't sure how I'd like the violet, blue violet paint with the red violet paint, but I kind of like it all. I just mixed both of them together. I wasn't planning to do that, but there it is. Mm. I really do think that.
Not perfect. Get a little more with
A little bit more red.
yeah.
You say the name much better than I say it. For the Guam flower.
What is it?
The Guam flowers, what's it called again? The
Bougainvilleas?
Gambias.
I was saying Bougainvilleas, and you corrected me and like, no, it's just Bougainvillea, bro. I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't think that I did that, but we'll
Okay.
just say that I did because it kind of does sound like me.
Hey, are you talking about a color or a flower?
A flower.
It's bougainvillea.
Oh, Bougainvillea. Okay.
Okay, had to cut in there.
Bougainvillea, the boogie beas.
Oh, see, there's all that color that I was looking for. Ah, okay. That is weird.
What's that?
They want to play? See if
So
they
like,
want to play.
so I will be trying to mix and like I'm mixing and mixing and mixing and it doesn't look like it's getting any darker. And then I'll wipe my palette knife and there's all those darker colors that I was trying to mix in.
So what you can do when you mix your paint, if you're not pressing down on your palette when you're mixing, like pressing hard to get through,
Yeah.
then you need to do that. But if you don't have the availability to do that, then you can get the paint on your palette knife and get the other one and
Hold
go
on. one second.
in it like
Don't think
like
you
a
can
body.
He's not on mute, honey. I can't hear you.
Like, if you go in with a second palette knife, you can mix it like this. And
Okay.
that'll help get the paint off your palette knife as well. That you're wiping away and like you're not seeing your pigment. So just
Yeah.
grab another palette knife and scrape it. That's what I would do.
Okay.
All right, now you see I've used all my purple off of my palette. All gone.
Nice.
So yay for that.
Yeah, I'm not as quick as you with the mixing, so I'm still in my mixing phase here.
You go right ahead. Take your time with it. All right, so I've got petals on the canvas. Usis, the petals. So now we need to go ahead and get us some stems going in here. And y'all. I have one paintbrush. I didn't bring any paintbrushes with me. Because we're using palette knives. Gotta find a paintbrush. I'm gonna use it. Kind of map out where I want the stems to go. And the reason I do
Ah,
that,
that's what I forgot to do with stems. I need to do stems first, don't I?
you can. I think I started my flowers and then I went in with stems last time. And the way that I mapped out my stems on that painting was I just took the tip of a palette knife and just kind of scraped through the board like this.
Yeah. I need my reference picture back in order to do that.
Yeah.
See, do you have that available where you could send it real quick or no?
I believe so. I can get it to you. That was fairly recent. Let's see. There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, since I went ahead and went with my palette knife and mapped it this way, I'll just continue that.
That's what I'm getting ready to do right now.
If you go through a flower and you pull paint off of it, don't freak out. Don't
Okay.
panic.
Okay.
Because what you can do is you can wipe your palette knife off and then just move that paint back up to the flower. Promise it's okay. And then just map over the rest of them. See, this one will be pretty big. The biggest, that's a big one. I don't know. Yep.
Got some maps.
There we go. All right. And then, of course, we're going to need some green. Make with the stems. So I've got some white. Definitely using a lot of white. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull some of my green off my canvas. It's not wanting it, right? You set it. I'm gonna use the thinnest palette knife I have. And build up some paint all up on it. And this is where you can use your line technique with your palette knife. And add some mineral spirits because it's a little thick. I think it's about the right color green that I want. Right? And then, yeah, right. Perfect. But
Way redder with this. Way.
not yet. It's pretty much the perfect size to make the stems. Gonna be a Gumbagiga, Ugambagiga.
Throwing some Bougainvilleos on there.
No, I'm just saying the the word over and over again.
Okay.
Mm. I just keep saying it. Make another color green here. The Viridian, I used sap green as well. And the white. I wish I had a little bit of maybe some lemon yellow would be nice. And add to it, you know. And if you know, you said you had a little bit of trouble with the paint on your palette knife, and then when you went to wipe it was still there.
Well, it was just I was hoping to mix some of the darker colors in,
Uh-huh.
and it was not getting. I was not getting to them. I just had a layer of the lighter stuff on the top, and then sitting up underneath all that lighter stuff was the darker colors.
I see. I'm just going in and making some room for this green on here. Laying it down, pushing it at an angle. Kind of give this stem some body. Make it a little bit more 3D. I like having the method of pulling the violet through the other colors. Kind of help giving that some life is what's going to be the same method for the stems that I use. I'm just dipping the side of my palette knife in that green and pulling it through the light green that I have on here. And that's just helping giving that a more 3D effect of a stem. Just pulling that. That in that dark. Pull that through so it gives it appearance of a stem there. Hoping that's what it's doing. Can you see stems? I don't know. What you got going on in your Your two lovers point painting. Let's see it.
Well, I don't have two lovers point at all.
Oh, okay.
You have a flower I'm trying to make here.
You're getting there. You're definitely using the method correctly with the push and then pulling through. And then what you can do, when you're ready to add your darker color to it, you can just either lay that on top of your texture that you have, or let that dry and go back over it with some very thick purple, like of a different color, a darker color if you want. Did you have any questions about making the petals or mixing the colors, or the difference in mixing the colors on the canvas as opposed to on the palette?
Oh, pretty cut and dry.
All right. Well, I feel like this is a good stopping point. Just to be able to review what we've got going on our two lover point painting. We're still working with palette knife and making the flowers. You were working on your stems. And you don't, I mean, if you don't have the cliff in there, that's fine. We can continue with the flowers and the beach scene. I kind of like that you have a sunset going on, so we can continue to work with that as well. But if you don't have any other questions, just stuff we can end recording and then whatever you need. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Thank you so much for joining, Debbie, and we appreciate you showing up for the use and supporting. If you have any questions about anything, then just hit me up. I'm happy to help. And then next week, I will go ahead and post, what we're going to discuss. If you guys still want to work with palette knife, I'm happy to do that. Seems to be working. I'm getting through some of this paint that I've had for forever, so it definitely gets the use of the paint taken care of.
Yeah, your blossoms look good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Bye, Mom. Love you.
Love you too.